This is your follow-up graphing practice with labs for EWIT 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. When you watch the video or look back at your data, you should be able to see that the fan speed at 0.1 meters was fast. At 0.5 meters, it was not as fast. We can call that medium. And at 0.1 meters, or I mean rather 1.0 meter, that's farther away, this was either slow or stopped. If your data in class said stopped, please use that data. So we have to make a graph out of this information. So we're going to draw a set of axes. You don't have to get a ruler out for this. These are for communication purposes. We're not going to publish them. Then we're going to label each axis. Y is up and down. X is across. That's just to help us remember. Then we are going to label each one based on what's on the T-chart. In our class, we're always going to have the x-axis and the y-axis in these positions. This is alphabetical order, and you're going to see this in other classes probably. So our x-axis will be solar panel distance. And I'm going to put meters in parentheses there to remind me that that is the unit we're using. The y-axis is the fan speed. And I need to go ahead and put some sort of scale on here. So the fan speed goes from fast to slow or stopped. So I can put at the top of this y-axis fast. And I can put at the bottom, I can put 0 or stopped or slow. I'm going to put stopped. And I don't have to put anything else on the y-axis at this point. So I know that we're going to be discussing the speed of the fan. Solar panel distance, the farthest distance was 1 meter. We also had half a meter, 0.5. You don't have to put a meter sign here because we put it in the label for the x-axis. And then down here, I'm going to actually put 0. Now, we don't have 0 on our data. We have 0.1. So I know that when I go to 0.1 meters on the x-axis, I'm not going to be starting at the origin. Now, to put data on this chart, we're going to look up here at our T-chart, or on this graph rather. We're going to look at the T-chart. We're going to go across 0.1 meters and up to fast. So across to 0.1, and I'm estimating, and up to fast, and I'm going to put a dot. That just tells me that I know what this first piece of information is. The second one, half a meter. So across half a meter and up to medium. Across half a meter, up to medium. And you may say, wait a minute, we don't have medium marked over here. Well, medium's going to be somewhere between stopped and fast. These graphs are not terribly precise. That's fine. And our last piece of data for this graph, we're going to go across to 1 meter and up to slow, or if your data said stopped, you do that. Across 1 meter, and I'm going to call this area slow. Notice there's no slow marked on the y-axis, but slow is more than stopped as far as speed goes. You can connect these dots if you choose. It's unnecessary. All right, now comes, I won't say the fun part, this is the difficult part. We need to write a summary statement describing what this graph tells us. I have one prepared for you. As the distance from the light source increases, the fan speed decreases. period. This is a sentence that interprets this graph. Now, if you choose to say the distance from the light source got larger, that's fine. Increases, gets larger. At greater distances, there's a lot of ways to make this statement. Okay, so as the distance from the light source increases, the fan speed decreases. You could change this to the fan speed gets slower. The fan speed is less. There are a lot of ways to make this sentence make clear what's happening in this graph. So we've got our set of axes, our labels. We've got some units where appropriate. This side doesn't have units, but it does have descriptions. We've got our data put on here. There's one thing missing, and that is a title. And a good title for this one, a useful title for this would be Effect of Solar Panel Distance on the speed solar powered fan. There are many ways to make that title adequate, but that's a good example, or a reasonable example. So for each one of the sets of data, the T-charts that are put on your paper, either use the data you collected in class or use the videos. Create graphs with title, summary, data, properly labeled axis.